Welcome, gorgeous souls, to another episode of Heart and Soul. And it's our last one in 2023, and our topic is reflection. It's always good to reflect back where we came from, reflect back over this year, or this month, or this week, or our life, because so often we are only looking forward and we see, oh, we still have to go so far, and we feel overwhelmed or we can never do that. And then when we pause and take time to look back and see how far we've already come, then we feel ready to take our next step. And of course, like always, my wonderful friend Janet is here with me. Hello, Janet.
Hi, Caroline. It's always lovely to be here. And yes, this reflection is really a great topic for this time of year. We touched on wintering before, and it kind of touches on that. But now, sort of, we're coming to the end of another year. I don't know where the year's gone. It's just gone so quickly this year. And it is a good time, as you say, to reflect back, to look over the past year. And I think it's important as well is that you look at the highlights and you consider that maybe the challenges that you've come through as well. What are the learnings that you can draw from those? And these, by using reflection, this is part of our growth and development as well on our journey. And I think people sort of at this time of the year, there's so much. I know in the UK with Christmas, it's just crazy, crazy busy. And so many people are just so frenetic, so crazy. But it is a really lovely process to sit down, take space for yourself, and just to look back over the last year. Are you going to do that, Caroline?
Yes, yes, and I actually did it last Tuesday when I felt a bit down and the weather was so dreary, and I felt like, oh gosh. And then I had that moment of, can I go on? I felt like a complete failure. And then I just sat there and said, okay, let's see, over all my life and see what I survived, what all the challenges were, the experiences of life, and how far I've already come. And then I felt that pride within. I says, oh, I'm a survivor. I did so much. I overcame so much. I learned so much. And then instead of looking like 10,000 steps ahead, I just focused on one step, and I said, okay, this is my next step. And then you feel good about yourself, and then you feel like you can master it. And I always take time to reflect and be grateful over the last year. And a couple of years ago, I even recorded a meditation, and it's sort of like going back to January 1st, or New Year's Eve, the previous year, and then sort of walking again through January, seeing what has happened, and being grateful for all the experience, the ups, the downs. And when you look from now back, we see it differently than while we were at it. And I think that's always good to see our rainy days and say, okay, yeah, it was rainy, but I learned that from that. And look where that rainy days have led me to that sunshine. And I think that's so important to see it from a new perspective, from all the learning we've done in between. Because sometimes we don't want to go back and say, oh, that was February was such a bad month. Oh, I don't want to look at it. But if we look at it from here, from end of December, and we look at February, and say, oh, it wasn't all bad. And wow, I managed that. Or I had, with this person, I had this disagreement, and now we're on speaking terms again. Or you see how much forgiveness, how much has happened since. And it's sort of like, yeah, looking through our own experiences with fresh eyes, and of course always with gratitude. So then you can walk through every month of the year and come back here and say, wow, thank you for another year of so many experiences. And you can lovingly let go of that year, because so many people, I mean, 2023 has been challenging, and I think 2024 won't be any different. But so many people often feel like, I'm done with it, poof, throw it away, and I'm so ready for the new year. And that means they haven't dealt with all of that. And even when I moved out of my former home, I went through it and I felt the gratitude, even though I was really ready to go. But I felt sort of take a moment and be grateful for those experiences and what it brought us. And then you can sort of take it into your heart, and connect to your soul journey, because that's part of your life. And then you're ready, but on a whole new level, ready for the following year. So I was speaking like 10 minutes, but
No, but it all resonates so much with me. And as you sort of say, it is almost like this moving transition from one thing to another. And it is where you have to clear the decks a little bit, ready for the new. And if you do that, it is like moving house, where you clear the clutter out that you don't need to drag that around with you. Just get rid of it and, make space for new. And definitely at the end of the year, this is a great time to do that. I love when I've done things throughout the year. Sometimes if I've done a trip or whatever, I make a photo book. So one of the things that I will do was, I went to Dubai with a friend earlier this year, and I will get out the photo book to enjoy that experience again. Obviously, I had a operation earlier in the year, but then looking back at that, as much as it was hard at the time, I'm now thankful because I know my foot's no longer in pain. And now that I'm a puppy mom and I'm doing lots of walks, that means I can do that. And again, the puppy coming into our lives, she's wonderful. Yes, it's challenging at times, but she brings us so much joy. And it seems that even in spite of what's going on in the world, when I look at my life in the last year, actually, it's been a very positive year for me personally. And I think as well, there's been a lot of learnings and getting back in touch with myself and my own creativity, because that was kind of like, has been a bit shaken up over the last few years. And now I'm sort of like back to, I'm enjoying my writing. I love creating the books. That's my creativity. And I'm embracing that. And it's definitely something that I feel for the new year is something that I want to make space for. So some of the things that I've been trying to do and not really feeling it, like my soul doesn't feel it's the right thing, I'm having to sort of like release that and say, that's maybe not for me right now, and do what I love. Because if you're passionate and you love doing something and it makes you light up, do it. If you can fit it into your life in some way, it is important to do that, because it makes your heart sing and your soul shine. Would you agree, Caroline?
Definitely. And your favorite phrase, follow your bliss. And
Yes.
you said something like, if you have time and can fit it into your life, do. I would say fit it in.
Fit it in.
Because we all need more joy, more cheer, more heartfelt and soul connection. And whatever brings you joy, do more of that. Because, yeah, we all sort of sometimes walk in a gray life, where work, home, or all these kind of things. And if we don't have windows of joy and sunlight and heart and soul, yeah, it can be very dreary. So make more room for joy and more room for heart and soul connections on a deeper level. And yeah, we all have 5 minutes a day where we can do something that truly brings joy to our heart and soul.
Absolutely. So looking back over the last year for you, Caroline, what have your highlights been? What are things that have made you very proud in the last year?
Oh, yeah, good time for reflection, and yeah, truly proud of my 3 grown-up adult children. They're all now over 20. And I think that was when my youngest turned 20, end of September. That was sort of like a new level of accomplishment, but just pride that I brought them up. He was 5 and his father left. So it's been quite a long time, and they've grown into 3 amazing, wonderful adults that I am close to. And that's truly opening my heart and something always to come back to. And yeah, the many walks and hikes we had in the mountains, that time in nature with the dog, or the trip to the Netherlands when I helped my daughter pack all her things, and we went to the beach, and it was so beautiful, and it was sort of just those long, flat, clear beaches, hardly any people there, sunshine, that wind. It's just really amazing. And I absolutely love and treasure those moments. And there were many more. I mean, yeah, spending time with my family, my mom, and even just last Saturday, I met one of my sisters and my niece, and we went to a Christmas market. And actually, this year we went to 2 Christmas markets that were really beautiful, and I felt the energy of that Christmas love, of that joy, and stayed in the moment. And I think that's another really wonderful thing. I stayed more in the moment this year. I always reminded myself, stay in the moment, and yeah, bringing in more light. It's sort of, even looking back to all the wonderful clients I had, and seeing their smiles, and yeah, there's so many things. Yeah, once you start, and that's the good thing, dear viewers or listeners, it took me a while to, what can I say? I don't know anything, but then keep going. And now I can't stop. So do the same. Just reflect on all the good in life. And maybe if you love to write it out, it's even good to just write it all out. Don't worry about spelling or punctuation. Just write it all out and get into that joyful, wonderful energy. And I feel my heart so wide open, and it's a wonderful exercise. Reflect on all that was good, and yeah, and then keep going. You don't have to stop. You're not on the show here and after 2 hours you're finished, but it's just like, keep it going and get back to it, because there's more and more and more you can uncover. And all of a sudden you realize you're so deeply grateful, you're so full of love for your own life and for yourself.
Absolutely. You've said that. You've summed that up beautifully, actually. I would totally agree with what you're saying. Is I think once you start the process, and that's why it is a good thing to do, is that you start uncovering more and more. And when we focus on that more positive experiences, it does put us into a better vibrational energy then for moving into the new. And then setting those intentions from a good space. But we're going to talk about that next time. Yeah, absolutely. So reflection is, as I've said, is an important part of your growth and development. and doing that, and the gratitude that you get from that, and also the learnings and the recognizing that what you've learned throughout the year as well. And even if it's like there's been a level of acceptance as well of things, like we can't maybe influence what's going on in the world, but we can influence ourselves. And if we're get ourselves into a good place and other people then enjoy spending time around us, and we're raising their joy and bliss and happiness, that's a good thing. And we're in control of that when you get into the right space. And that's important. I mean, another highlight this year, the show, the Heart and Soul show, and our books.
Definitely. See, I wasn't finished. I was just thinking, so okay. But definitely the show. I mean, that sort of brings so much joy to me, and I always love to meet you, Janet, dear Janet, on Tuesdays, and our connections, and yeah, hearing from viewers and listeners how much joy and insights it brought, and yeah, lighting up their days. And of course the books. Remember, there are two book 1 and 2. They're great Christmas gifts, or just joy for you to read and come back to what's important in our lives. And that's at the core, isn't it? That we recognize ourselves and connect to our heart and our soul and do what's right for us. And like you said, we can't change the world, but we can change how we react to it. And if we always can stay in that love and inner peace and calm and joy, or more often, it's not, don't aim for 100%, that's, I don't think, I am not there all the time, and that I think is not part of being human anyway. So more and more, and that's really important. And I think around Christmas, we come back to what's truly important, health and family, or we realize how we miss loved ones, and yeah, and then everything else falls away if we truly focus on what's important.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, Christmas time, I know here I've been guilty of it too. And I do feel pressure because we do have a lot of family events and family commitments. And I have the expectation I want it to be perfect. But you know what? I've let go of that. It will be what it is. We have a dog in the mix, and she just will be excited to see everybody. It'd be a bit, maybe definitely not perfect, but as long as everybody has a good time and we all enjoy it, that's what matters.
And I think definitely Puppy will make sure you have a good time, because then you can laugh at her.
Oh, I don't know what she'll be doing.
and that's the thing. It's sort of what's perfect, because everybody has a different way of perfect. But sitting there nicely at your table stiff is not my kind of perfect. So a little bit of puppy crazy in the mix, and easy does it. So if you're hosting your family this year, yeah, easy. Ask people to help, bring in more joy, and reflect on what's truly important for you. And you can do it your way, from your heart and soul.
Exactly. And it's just an opportunity to bring the extended family together on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas for us. And, it's just about having everybody together and having fun. And we'll probably play some games. So that is always funny.
That's amazing. Yeah, we see my family also on Boxing Day. It's Stefan's talk here.
Yeah.
So yeah, see my mom and my two sisters, and just one niece. The other is with her father. You know, it's always with family constellations. You always have to sort of share, but it will be nice. And I said, so uncomplicated, really easy getting up. I don't like to sit at the table for too long. I love to mix and mingle and stand around. And actually, during Corona, then we had sort of like tables there, and we had more like a apero kind of thing, and that was so fun because I could go with one sister, talk, go to the other, sit with my mom. It was more, could connect with everybody, because when I sit at the table, then you're just left, right, and the person in front of you, and it feels more stiff. But anything and everything is okay, and being grateful for my mom that she's healthy. She'll turn 80 next year, and yeah, grateful that she's still in our lives, and definitely reflecting. And reflection, you don't have to do it by the end of the year. It's good to sort of integrate it into your life and reflect regularly over a day, over the week, over a month, or especially when you're feeling a bit low. Then it's always good to just take a pause and look back and see how far you have come, and reflect on everything with fresh eyes.
Absolutely valuable advice there, Caroline. I definitely will be doing that. And I do that. I think if you journal, if you allow that and you do the gratitude side of things, that is definitely something that you can do on a daily basis. And it really does shift. You find that you do shift, because I know in the past I've been quite a negative person because of circumstances and different things and environment and people, and now sort of now using gratitude, as you say, you can then look at each day and go, oh, actually this was a good day. You maybe thought it started off maybe not great or something happened, and then you look back and go, actually no, it was a good day. And when you said about my pup last night, she had me laughing. She's now too big to fit under the TV unit, but the ball keeps going. I don't know, she keeps putting the ball under there, and she tried to get onto the TV unit, and all I could see was this fluffy bum. And then I thought she's going to get stuck under there, but she managed to get herself out. And then she looked at me as if to say, "Mommy, can you get it?" She's so funny.
It is, and I remember the time because I have a golden retriever. So as a puppy, she was smaller than our cat, and she was going underneath the tables and lying there flatline. And I mean, now she can't figure out. It's sort of like, and there was that stage, sort of like, she looks at me so, did that table shrink?
Yeah. Oh, they do bring so much joy. Yeah, definitely do. Glad to have her in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything more you love to share about reflection, Janet?
I think that, highlights, great. I do think, as you sort of mentioned as well, do make space to look at the challenges you've faced, and recognize that you've come through challenges and how far you've developed. And as you say, you're looking at it from a different perspective, and give yourself a pat on the back, because it's life at times is not easy. And just to recognize that, yes, you did it, you got through it, and just acknowledge that for yourself, because I think that's very important, because there's so much emphasis on in the social media world, everything being this perfect life. We're bombarded with this, and that's not real. The real is, you have the ups and downs, and you are going to face challenges, but recognize that, and then recognize when you've come through them, how much the strength that you find, and maybe you've developed as a person because of it. So yeah, do consider these things as well when you're reflecting back over the past year.
Yeah, and reflecting on those things and realizing, yeah, it was challenging, but you learned from it, you have come this far, and it's never as dark anymore when you're out on the other side. And if you're struggling at the moment, remember, in a week, in a month, half a year from now, you will be looking back and saying, okay, I managed that. I came through. And remember, there's always light at the end of your tunnel. And you will reflect back on this darker time with fresh eyes soon.
Oh, beautiful.
And next episode in the new year will be about intentions, I think.
Intentions, yes. Perfect time to do that.
Exactly.
We talked about setting intentions and about goals and
New Year's resolutions, and
we'll talk about all of those.
So we are excited to see you again in the new year in 2024. Wishing you all a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, and whatever is going on in your life, connect to your heart and your soul. And we are always here to help and assist you on your journey. Thank you so much.
Lots of love and light blessings for the holiday season, and see you in the new year.